Hi everyone, it's week 3 of training for the New York City Marathon. Welcome back to my YouTube. I feel like so corny saying that, but you guys know me at this point. Exciting news I have that's not related to the marathon in any sense. Maybe it will relate to my nutrition, I guess, but I have a hydroponic farmer back here. It's so cute. It kind of looks like Wall-E. So the story of how I got this, a content creator, influencer, I get a lot of emails from brands being like, wanna try our shit. 90% of the time I say, no way, I don't need extra shit and I don't want that product. Let Us Grow, which is the company's name, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, do you want a hydroponic farmer for your apartment? It doesn't need lighting because it has LED light. And I was like, what is more sea moss girlies than me growing my own fucking lettuce? I'm waiting on the seedlings, but I'll show you guys. I need to name my farm or something. I'm taking name suggestions. 30 different seedlings. You can change out like what you order. I got like a lettuce variety, so I'll show you when I get it. It's kind of complex. There's like pH things, CO2 things. I have to put water in here. These are the lights, but thank you, Let Us Grow. I'm very excited. This is so sea moss girlies of me. I and Emma yesterday when we were potting, and you guys know the meme where it's like, when I'm rich, all my homies are getting blank. I was like, when I'm rich and I have a hydroponic farmer, all my homies are getting lettuce. So I'm gonna get little bags. Whenever my friends want lettuce, they can come over and get a little haul from the Cake Laven farm. Get you a friend that gives you kale whenever you want. So really excited about that. But the dilemma is that it takes up so much space in my apartment. So I'm actually getting rid of this table and I'm gonna get like a table that attaches to the wall and then folds up. None of this is that interesting, but when I was doing my running warm-up, I was like on top of my fucking farmer over there. It's a Monday. We have a 40-minute run ahead of us. It's obviously very humid in the city. I have my set on by Planet Noosa. I love their stuff. The material of this is great. They have really fun colors. They do cool drops. They're sustainable. Check them out. 59's on. Let's get out there, kids. Feeling good. I'm excited. Yesterday I had an entire rest day, so I really needed that, like mentally, physically. Hi everyone, we're back from our Monday run. I'm disturbingly sweaty, so I'm gonna shower and eat something because I'm a little bit dizzy, like dehydrated dizzy. So gonna do that and then I will chat with you because right now I am useless to put together a sentence. I'm not sweaty anymore. I don't know why. I got really exhausted from that heat, and you just have to treat your body differently if you're training in the summer. Like today I was just wiped, so I didn't have time to film. Went to physical therapy, love my man Mike. I'm eventually gonna bring my vlogging camera so you guys can see what I do at PT. He's an angel, truly makes me feel so happy and just like so happy that I made the connection with him. Everything about it is amazing. I'm so much more confident. But I've been getting into my next book for this video. So I haven't started reading it yet. That's gonna be my plans tonight. Just sit in a bath and do this. But I did reread this book that I've mentioned before, I feel like on social media, Fit Nation. The chapter in here about Title IX that I reread. And it really made me think that a lot of the achievements that, you know, we take for granted as Gen Z and millennials were not fought for by our grandmothers. These are recent wins that were done by our aunts and our moms. So Title IX was passed in 1972. A reason that I'm very cognizant and aware of that is because my mom was a huge beneficiary of Title IX being passed into law. Mom grew up on a tiny as fuck farm in Minnesota with 12 siblings, 8 brothers. She was a 3-state sport champion. She was a prep athlete. She was recruited to play at the University of Nebraska. She had like a million fucking Division I offers. She was an All-American. She went to play professionally and she's been a coach ever since. So my mom growing up would tell us a lot about her story not being possible without Title IX. And she is a Title IX honoree in the state of Minnesota for athletic achievements. So when the book was talking about Title IX, I just had this whole moment of really pulling it together as a full circle because I'm running and I'm raising money for Planned Parenthood. My access to be able to run a marathon wasn't even possible. I made a TikTok video a little bit earlier talking about Kathleen Switzer, who is the iconic woman that ran the Boston Marathon under a pseudonym in 1967, and she was just getting like assaulted by men during the race who didn't want her to finish. I'll just say that the achievements of Title IX were something that were fought for by our aunts and our moms, not our grandmothers, and it's a very recent history that we should be very grateful for and continue to fight for. The fight is not done. There's so many things that I feel like most Gen Z millennial women, I'm assuming if you watch this, are Gen Z millennial women, most of us are very aware that there's a lot of battles for us to go, and then when you think about race and class, there's even more things to do. But it's just really good to remember the history and not take it for granted that, like, yeah, running a marathon's a lot of miles and shit, but like, oh my God, women were excluded from that. Women couldn't run marathons. There were not sports bras. In the book, if you want to read it, it talks about the invention of the first sports bra. That's crazy. That's crazy that what I get to do every single day is because of Title IX. Crazy. So that's the reading. This book's great, and I'm gonna start this one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi YouTube, it is 6:36 on a Tuesday. It's Sea Moss Girlies Day, new podcast out. I have a run at 7:15. I'm meeting up with a friend on Instagram that I've never met before, so that'll be exciting. But I'm up way too early and I'm already ready to go. So I'm gonna cut my weekly watermelon. Summer life hack, just always having this in the fridge. Like whenever you get home and you're just kind of dehydrated, need a little something. So let's cut up a watermelon at 6:30 a.m. Container 1, done. Container 2, done. Hi YouTube, what's up? It is a Wednesday morning. I had no run today. I did a little solid core moment, but I've been reading the book Good for a Girl, and so let's talk about it a little bit. So I'm about 90 pages in. She talks a lot about her experience growing up playing cross country and track. I played volleyball my whole life. I've only been running for like 5 years. I quit playing college volleyball my junior year. Should I talk a lot about volleyball? Maybe. Okay. So high school volleyball, but club was where your bread and butter was. You'd go to recruiting tournaments across the country. Coaches would contact you. I got my first recruiting letter when I was in 9th grade by Penn State. I was like 6 feet tall, kind of the same height I am now. Like when I was in probably 9th and 10th grade, I developed an eating disorder when I was in my junior year. I developed it under stress, pressure. I didn't feel like I had any control over anything. I cut off so much of what I could have been, and I think about that a lot. It really pains me to think about what I could have been if I didn't fall to an eating disorder. You know, eating disorders not only affect your body. I think most people just think about you get thin, but I've talked about blood work before. I've talked about osteoporosis. I was at a risk of developing osteopenia. Your hair falls out, your nail falls out, your brain doesn't function. I was in 5 AP classes. I was trying to be top of my class, and I did very well academically, and I did very well into college as well. But what if I would have eaten enough? What if I would have never had that bout of getting an eating disorder? Not to say that I didn't learn a lot and I wouldn't be where I am now without having that happen to me, but we fail women systemically. We fail female athletes and have to fit into a certain body standard. So many women feel the pressure to be thinner. Depending on whatever sport you have, there's, you know, different body image standards, but all of us think subconsciously, if I was thinner, maybe I'd be better at my sport. It is such a risk to your future self. The osteopenia thing. Disorders are the highest mortality of all mental health disorders, meaning that the most people die of eating disorders. Not depression, not anxiety, eating disorders. And we don't take them seriously. We don't have any NCAA official policy to deal with eating disorders, but we do with concussions. We are failing young women. I feel like I didn't have any help. I didn't know what to say. I knew so many girls on my team were also struggling, but none of us felt that it was comfortable for us to talk about. And it's just tough. It's tough to read this book because, you know, I am training for a marathon now. There are definitely thoughts I have. What if I was thinner? What if I was thinner? Would I run a faster marathon time? I know that I can't go down that route. I have so much experience and so much physical evidence that I can't do that. And yet someone like me who's gone through an eating disorder and had to push through years of recovery, finding different therapists and doctors and doing so much mental work to fix the fucking problem, it is so easy to almost fall back to your old ways. But you have to remember the health. Your health is so much more important. There are so many athletes that have eating disorders and so many thin women that are not healthy if you were to look at their blood work. And it sucks as a society. We lift those women up as those are the beauty standard and that's what you should want to look like. Health is not thinness. And I feel like we're having that conversation more now, but still on college campuses, specifically for female athletes, they are not being told that you should eat as much as your male counterparts. You should fuel yourself. You know, it's really hard to even do this if you have teammates or coaches or anyone that is making comments that undermine your own autonomy. We're feeling like judged if I were to order, let's say, a burger versus a salad. I know a lot of people experience that too. Good morning, everyone. It's a Thursday. You might be like, why is it so bright? We're sitting next to my little vertical farmer here. I tried to record and show it and then my camera died, so I don't think I did a full vertical farm week, so TBD on that, but it's really bright. That's my one takeaway. And it turns on and off, there's a night timer and everything, but when it's on, she's on. This is my 3rd week back running, so my mileage is slowly but surely increasing. I haven't done anything over like a 5-mile run in this program, so that's been the longest one I've done. But I feel good in my body and I'm really happy my coach is taking it slow so I'm not getting injured. I've been connecting with my inner child a lot because I've been reading the book Good for a Girl, and I'm really thinking about like what I was like when I was 16 and 17 and what happened and what led me to basically self-destruct, perfectionism and everything that killed me, and like I was good enough, feeling like I had to fit into a body image standard. I've been trying to think about what I was doing on a day-to-day during that time, and it's really sad when you have dark parts of your life. I feel like you tend to remember them less. I don't remember a lot of what I used to do when I was 16 and 17 besides close my door and slam it shut and sit alone in my room. Like, my eating disorder sucked the life out of me. That was all that I had the energy and the will and the want to do. I didn't think that anyone wanted to be around me. I self-isolated. I didn't think anyone loved me. Like, all I cared about was my body, what college I was going to go to, volleyball, my grades. I didn't have a life. It sucks when you see a thing like girl dinner on TikTok, and the trend was started with no ill intent. Just a girl being like, I'm too exhausted to make dinner. Same. Happens to me a lot of the times. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, someone's gonna take this and just make this some like pro-Anna shit. And that's quickly what we saw the trend becoming. And someone like me who's gone through eating disorder therapy, I feel very removed from having that will to restrict my calories and just live in such a small state of being. I don't have any desire to go back there. I know what I could do to go back there. I know the restriction. I know the weird fucking orthorexic and anorexic lifestyle I've had at certain times. I don't want that. But every time those videos come up, you might be thinking, my vertical farmer just turned off. If someone's experienced an eating disorder or any sort of body image issue and you see some piece of content that's triggering, you have a discourse with it now to be able to brush it off in a way that you probably didn't at one time. Like, I look at that content in a way that if I saw it when I was 16, who knows where that could have taken me. And so every time I see a trend like girl dinner, I understand that people need to like learn their own triggers and grow up and not take everything so literally. But there are so many girls who don't have eating disorders yet. Bless their hearts. Yet they don't have one. And when you see shit like girl dinner pop up, there's a girl that hasn't questioned her relationship with food yet. There's a girl who hasn't questioned her relationship with her body. There's a girl that hasn't tried to restrict. There's a girl that hasn't tried to cut calories. And now every time these new trends pop up, they might be harmless. There's no malintent in the person that made the video. But when you see the pro-Anna people get on top of the trend and pump out their own content that begins to lead the algorithm, because our algorithm's favorite, like, really flashy content, there's going to be a girl that has never had eating issues that is now going to have eating issues and question everything she does. Everything she does. And we don't take it seriously. Like, we all laugh. We're like, oh, I'm just gonna have a Diet Coke and be skinny today. I don't know. It's tough because that stuff doesn't trigger me. Like I've said, I've moved beyond it. I'm able to brush it off and know that I gotta stay in my own lane with food stuff. But I can't help but get sad. I get really sad thinking about all the girls who are probably developing their eating disorder right now. It sucks. It took off years of my life. I just sat in my bed and rotted away and I didn't want anyone to talk to me. I thought that getting an A- was the worst thing I've ever done. It's like nothing I could do was good enough. I never thought I was thin enough. I never thought any boy would like me. Like, I was living in such hell for that time. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone to go through an eating disorder. I know that what I went through got me to where I am now. What I think about fitness and health and wellness and movement and women's liberation is what I experienced with my own eating disorder. But it's just frustrating where I feel like we don't make any strides in culture and progress. We preach body positivity and I don't resonate with that shit particularly, but we are still failing young women. And failing young women more than just the media that's out there on TikTok. Failing young women on college campuses. Failing young women in the workplace when people make comments, oh wow, you're gonna eat all that for lunch? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And to expect people to be able to turn it off when it's everywhere, especially 15-year-old girls that are just scrolling on TikTok trying to have a fun time. It sucks. It sucks. Feeling like I'm some fucking like baby, like I'm some mama bear that we need to coddle everyone. Eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of all mental health disorders. I don't give a fuck if your girl dinner was just a joke of you posting a Diet Coke and a cigarette. It's not cool. It's not cool to do so. The diet they promote, every product they try to sell you is something to get you to be as thin as possible or to question if you're thin enough. It's frustrating. I'm gonna go on my run. I'm gonna think about all that. Because I'm just pissed off. I'm really pissed off when I think about being 17 and I don't remember a lot of my life. My life wasn't in color. I just sat, thought about how to be thinner, went to classes, tried to get recruited, thought about calories, went home. That was it. And I'm better now. I have a life now. I caught it pretty early, but it sucks to know that some people are probably going through it for the first time ever. Because what do they see on social media every fucking day? Someone trying to tell them they're not thin enough. Okay, I'm gonna run. Love you guys. Bye. My first experience with a phenomenon I would see over and over again in my own life and career and those of other female athletes. Between the function and appearance of the female body while being subject to the dominant male gaze, the significant pressure to be both physically strong and sexually attractive. Runners who don't talk to their coaches about their periods. Female athletes must be able to talk about puberty and periods. 3/4 of them had disordered eating behaviors or eating disorders. Nearly half had a history of amenorrhea, absence of periods, and other menstrual dysfunction, and a shocking 42% had low bone mineral density. Impact sports like running and lifting weights are correlated with a higher bone density in the general population. Too often, the competitive environments of girls' sports are doing the opposite with lifetime consequences. Now that we can follow female athletes into older age for the first time in history, the data shows that former athletes are going on to experience higher rates of osteoporosis and bone fractures than their non-athlete peers. Monitoring menstrual health is the first line of defense against all of this harm. And again, nobody talks about it. A strategy that made you faster for a little while but forced you to quit a couple of years later. When it comes to addressing the largest threat to athlete mental health that disproportionately affects women, the disease that destroys major organs and body systems, depletes bones, and has the highest mortality rate of all mental health disorders, the NCAA takes a libertarian approach. Coaches can do something to prevent and manage them, or not, and they aren't held responsible either way.